Wishing you the best, but I know that you're sick. I know it's not the same without me, doubtly made a bad choice, I guess that's just how it be. You gotta live with that, you gotta give it back. You must know, but I'm sure that you don't. Everything good always comes to an end. Enjoy the next ride, but I was the best ride. But I hope you know that wherever you go and whoever you meet won't be better than me. And I hope you know when it's all said and done, I was the best one. Yeah, you know. Okay, so up until recent, and despite what some may think, I've tried my best to be unbiased in this whole situation regarding the whole Vic Mignogna, Monica Rial voice of Broly, voice of Bulma, catastrophe and whatnot. But as things are starting to line up, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you, with everything that I've heard over the years of why I've been skeptical, and we're going to also highlight what I just said. Everything that I've heard over the years regarding Vic Mignogna, because I think at this particular point I'm really starting to feel as though, and this is my opinion, similar to Philip DeFranco and many of the other people on YouTube that give their opinion and their stance on a matter. That doesn't mean that I'm accusing anyone. This is all alleged. I want to be very specific with that. This is all alleged, and me giving in my opinion and discussing some of the things that I've heard from individuals throughout the years. But again, keyword heard. This is all hearsay, but this is why I felt a certain way about this matter leading into all of this debacle with Vic Mignogna. Now, for about a decade or so, as I described in one of the earlier videos talking about all this, and the reason behind this whole video is, yes, Vic Mignogna has lawyered up, but things are starting to seem a bit interesting in a way, of the other side being apologetic right around the time the video of the potential lawyer for Vic Mignogna surfaces. Then Vic Mignogna lawyers up. This is where it kind of starts to say, okay, on top of that, me hearing what Monica Rial has accused Vic Mignogna of as well, there's a lot of things that are starting to make me feel a certain way. And again, I'm going to give my opinion, but throughout the years, again, early on, I've heard, honestly, as the start of me really getting into going to my first anime convention and all that stuff in 2010, I heard rumors that Vic Mignogna refused to sign some yaoi art, like I said beforehand. You could describe it as, hey, he just didn't want to sign unofficial merch, whatever. There was rumors, though, that he was what some would describe as an asshole. They basically said that that was his personality. Again, me and Vic, I've never sat down with Vic. Again, I probably bumped into him at a Funimation gathering one time, maybe, and said what's up or something like that. Never had any type of engagement with him. With Monica Rial, I've met her a couple times, but again, it wasn't like we sat down and, you know, we had a couple brewskis. Like, I just met her, seemed sweet, etc., etc. But then there was other rumors I've heard. I've heard that he's kind of like somewhat of how I described Sean Schimmel, like a rock star down at Funimation, but that pretty much he's a ladies guy. I heard that he had a large fan base of women and that he was a player. Like, it was described to me as that. So then when it comes into this, it starts already, like, my mind is already with, okay, so I've heard rumors he's an asshole, he's a womanizer. But then I just start seeing everything play out, and I see all of the propaganda. There's certain people that was exposed of trying to and supporting doctoring information regarding Vic Mignogna. And then we get the description again of what Monica Rial described Vic did to her. And everything just starts to really seem like, from my perspective, I felt like at this point, I would be a hypocrite to say that because I heard things about Vic Mignogna for a decade, that still makes any of it true and any of it credible. And on top of all of that, any of this worthy of him being fired and being tarnished, his reputation and all sorts. Now, going back again, so I hear all these rumors, all of this surfaces. I'm already, my judgment is like, yo, but I've heard that Vic, and, you know, I even one time I remember, and this is me being 100% honest, I remember, and this was a story that I've only told a select
few, but since we're talking all this, and I've been getting hit left and right from both sides since I haven't been saying, oh, I stand with Monica, I stand with Vic, or whatever. So let's just put all the cards on the table. I heard something. It was really personal, none of my business, not even a big deal really, but something about Vic running out on his wedding for unknown reasons on his wedding day. And still, when you add all of this in your mind at the time, for me, I'm just like, damn, so I just heard so many things about Vic. But that's neither here nor there if he went out on a wedding. What does that have to do with anything? Assuming any of that is true, again, this is hearsay from an Uber driver that he supposedly had worked on the Star Trek fan-made project that they're doing, Star Trek Continues, something along the lines of that. I believe it's a fan-made project with him. Todd Havercorn is in there. Shout out to Todd Havercorn. I think he's cool. I know. So then, again, I hear all these rumors. Fast forward, all of this kicks off. My judgment is clouded. But then, as it pieces together, it's like, okay, so based on Monica Rial's story, and this could very well be a misunderstanding. And again, all of this is my opinion on allegations. Nothing is me saying that this is fact in any fashion. I gotta keep stressing that. I am not trying to get into none of that. All of everything is just me giving speculation, opinions. None of this. It's all allegations. So then I hear Monica's, testament of what she said happened to her. She had something tragic happen to her in the past. I know people that I love, and I would do anything for that. It's been through that. So I don't play around with that. That's nothing to joke around with of what happened to her in the past. And that could possibly attribute to maybe her feeling uncomfortable for a situation that, yeah, okay, there was a couple of things that you could argue. You could either label it as, and this is how society is in general, let's break it down to society. You could label Vic for what she claims he's done. Let's just say, hypothetically, everything she said is true, right? Let's just say that with everybody, not just her, with everybody, he'll grab their hair, take a fistful of their hair, and get real close to the point where his mouth is touching their neck or their cheek, and be kind of like, provocative like that. Let's just say he was raunchy of sorts. Okay, that would make somebody, especially somebody that's been through things like that, feel uncomfortable, but he's done it with many people, and that just more so shows that Vic Mignogna is, you could argue, eccentric. Again, you could say eccentric, you could say weird, you could say creepy, you could call that whatever you want. Different culture, different strokes, different folks. Something in India that might be weird to us is normal to them, and us, I don't know, me talking into this microphone might be really weird and creepy to somebody somewhere else. It's perception, it's just the way people feel about things. But again, that doesn't deem a crime, that doesn't mean sexual harassment. You could argue it's inappropriate, but if the man does it with everybody, he just loves, that's the way he is, that's the way he shows his affectionate side, you could argue that, again, he's eccentric. That's not breaking the law. That's not, yeah, he's eccentric. He's a little eccentric, weird, or creepy. You pick one, but it's just labels. She said in the mid-2000s that he had kissed her. When I was in 7th grade, there was a girl named Tara Lloyd. I really, really was fond of her. I wanted her to be my girlfriend, so after a little wrangling, I managed to get it to a point where me and her were at the park, and I put my arm around her. It was like a cool vibe, and I went in and reached for a kiss and got rejected, and she said, "Boy, you better stop playing, we just friends." I was friend-zoned and a half in the 7th grade. It happened to me. Sorry, I'm just trying to throw in a little bit of comic relief in a very, very terrible situation. Laughter is the best medicine in my opinion, so forgive me. But point being was that I don't think I deserved to be arrested. I don't think I deserved to be penalized in any form or fashion because I reached in for a kiss and Tara Lloyd didn't want to receive it, and Tara Lloyd wasn't interested. It's not that I broke a law, it's not, she just didn't want it. Now, with Monica, it might have felt uncomfortable because, again, she comes from different circumstances. Maybe Tara Lloyd had a life free of any of those type of misfortunes or events that has occurred. So maybe that's the case there, whatever. But point being is that if Vic did try and kissed her in the mid-2000s, according to her description, she had a boyfriend to be, a guy that she liked, so she was single. If Vic was single, then it's two single people. If Vic was in a relationship of a sort, then okay, he cheated on his spouse and kissed her, but it's still not a crime. I mean, it's a scandal in and of itself of like, okay, he's cheating, he needs to maybe get some help for cheating, but it's still not worthy of destroying the man's reputation for those events. Again, in my opinion. And, honestly, any corporation that don't want to mess with me for having an opinion of my own without any type of slanderous behavior, then that's on you, because I'm not going to silence myself and stop myself from wanting to say exactly how I feel regarding this very sensitive matter. Honestly, as it stands right now, it seems as though Monica and a lot of these girls nowadays, because we are in a sensitive era where I'm not gonna lie, at the club, I don't want to look in a girl's eyes when, that song Snoop Dogg and Akon, I Want to Love You, the dirty version. If that song comes on, I ain't even look in a girl's eyes, because, oh my God, she'll say something. So we're in a sensitive time, and I get it. I understand that, this is where we've come to, but regardless of what, doesn't mean that for getting an unwanted kiss, not feeling him or whatever, and maybe he just genuinely liked her and said, hey, come, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So if Vic is at the job constantly grabbing people's hair and kissing them and stuff like that, then yeah, okay, it's inappropriate. But if that's just his thing of like, he's an eccentric guy and he's just kind of getting close by and things like that, I don't know. I don't see somebody being different being a crime. I mean, one of my heroes is my Aunt Kathy. My Aunt Kathy identifies as a man. She's done this since I was a little kid, as long as I can remember. And my Aunt Kathy is my hero, and she's weird and different to people. That's just my Aunt Kathy that always tells me that she has the biggest schlong in the world. Yeah, it might be weird to you watching this right now, but to me, that's just my Aunt Kathy. And if Vic Mignogna is a bit weird to you, that may be fine, but that'll make him a criminal, and that'll make him deserving of being destroyed and torn down. So I absolutely am starting to look at it as maybe it's a misunderstanding. I know how mob mentality works, especially when there's people that already dislike. From my understanding, Vic Mignogna was never really close into it. A lot of these people had resentment toward him for the way he acted around them and whatnot. So he didn't have friends to begin with, so nobody was going to come. He was going to have 5 voice actors to back him up to begin with. I'm not saying that this is all a conspiracy against Vic Mignogna. I'm not saying that this was a targeted event to get him out of here. Not at all. But my opinion is that possibly Monica and a lot of these women that are speaking out are in an era, they're speaking things of like, so is a person like Vic Mignogna being expressive and eccentric and maybe he's a rock star of some sort, but does that make him not okay to be in society? I mean, in the hip-hop community, Vic Mignogna, they would be like, hey, he kissed a chick and what? Like, Vic Mignogna be a rock star in the hip-hop community. So you get what I'm saying? Honestly, a lot of it is perception, misunderstandings, and it's crazy. So if I was going to throw my support at anyone, it would be at Vic Mignogna, simply because he's misunderstood, I think. I think he's misunderstood, being eccentric, all the things I've heard all these years. He lives like a rock star. In a different community, nobody would say a word. Vic Mignogna would be a lamb in comparison to the other people. So it doesn't make him a bad guy. And if he is not right for who he is in society, then it's a shame that it's not okay to be different. Let's read what Vic had to say, because in case you guys missed it, a video was floating around of a actual lawyer breaking down how Vic Mignogna has a case against, I believe, all of the companies that had, fired him and dissociated themselves. Because you got to think about it, if they did this, Vic Mignogna has the case in regards to like, his public image is ruined. It's going to be hard for him to get work for the rest of his life. That's a lot of revenue for many years that I believe is what one of their arguments, amongst many other things, of slander and all sorts of things. So that came out. And then I want to say right around that time, that's when Monica Rial's tweets of saying, hey, let's squash everything came out. Then Vic posted that, there was a GoFundMe that was opened. And actually, it was a GoFundMe that Vic Mignogna is supporting. The way Vic Mignogna has been handling this, we're going to read it in a second, but Vic Mignogna, again, bravo. Like, looking at everything I've heard, everything I know, no matter what, because people have said crazy things about me since I've been on this platform, said that I was a part of an anime mafia of destroying YouTubers, like, as crazy and corny and dumb as shit as that sounds, of like, hey, some guys on the internet, like some nerds on the internet calling themselves the anime mafia, he's a bad guy, he cursed people out, whoa. Like, there's nothing wrong with, again, being different. Maybe we all misunderstood. Words cannot express the depth of my gratitude for all the kindness and support that has been shown to me over the last few weeks. I had hoped that my apologies and acknowledgments, both public and private, would be received, but I have now very reluctantly retained a law firm as my last and only resource to attempt to salvage my reputation and my 20-year career in this industry. A friend expressed a desire to set up a GoFundMe for legal expenses. I approved his kind offer, and I'm so grateful, but I'm not managing it, nor will I personally receive any of it. Any surplus will go to the Salvation Army Dallas Domestic Violence and Abuse Shelters. Bravo, 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 Vic, bravo. I hold no malice toward anyone. I just love my work and the fans and sincerely wish to continue. Bravo, Vic, bravo. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm glad that even though you can say whatever you want, this and that, I waited to really get all the facts out there of what the claims were against him. That was one of the biggest things. Until I heard the claims, I couldn't completely condemn him. I couldn't completely say anything. Everything is on the table now. Vic, do your thing. If any companies don't want to mess with me after this, it is what it is. I'm allowed to have my opinion. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Vic, keep your head up. I stand with Vic.
You know, I've been thinking lately, if you desire one thing for so long, it's a given that you're gonna miss other things along the way. But that's how it is. That's life. Yeah. Everything good always comes to an end. If you stab me in my back, we can never make amends. Trying to move to acceptance, hard to accept it. Mistakes like mirrors, gotta reflect it. I don't wanna fucking leave, but I gotta leave. Leave the maybes to the crazies. Maybe one day there I go admitting something in a subtle way. No more copies, leave without a trace. Last time, I'ma say last time. Moving on to the future, leave the memories as a pastime. Memories always feel like the worst. Deading all the past, leave it in a hearse. Sometimes I wanna lie, but I don't. Why lie when truthfully you get caught in it? Then usually it's all off and shit. Uncalled for shit. Now I'm off the shit. Maybe lately what I've been facing got me crazy. No, I can't take it. Maybe, 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 maybe. Real talk.